Hello, John Bloodworth, Gentleman Crafter here with card layout number 38. This is the card that we'll be making in this video. I say we, it'll be me. And the papers that I'll be using are from the It's a Boy pad from first edition. Lots of different textures, styles, themes, some double-sided papers here, and a sheet of stickers at the front, which I will show you more about in a minute. Obviously, as ever, to stick it all together, I will mostly be using the Glue It bookbinding glue from Pinflair. It's my favourite. Okay, let's take a look at the stuff. That's the official term for all of the bits and bobs. First up the layout, and then I've got a collection of dies, plus this little guy is actually a sticker that came from the pad that I stuck to a piece of paper and then cut out to make an embellishment. Here's the paper from the It's a Boy pad, and it's actually got a lovely texture to it. Feels almost like fabric. I've then got some coloured cardstock that I've coordinated with that paper, and one of those sheets, this kind of hideous sort of pastel pea green, I don't even know what to describe it as, to be honest, is going to be the card base. I should really be describing it as a lovely, beautiful, soft green, but it is actually one of my least favourite greens ever, I think. Now, for the paper, I'm actually going to chop it down so that it fits onto the front of the card with a slight border. For the exact measurements, please feel free to download and save or print the layout itself. That's available on my blog, and of course a link will be in the description below the video on YouTube. Just using the bookbinding glue there as usual. And I'm going to stick that under something heavy while I fiddle about with the rest of this card. Okay, cutting the long strip that's on the layout going top to bottom, but actually I'm going to work landscape, so it's going to go left to right. And then I'm going to do a bit of the die cutting. And first up, I'm going to cut the larger circle from the darker cardstock and also the sentiment. I'm saying lighter and darker because obviously I've used blue and green here, but you might be choosing to use a different collection of colours. So it's kind of easier if I say the lighter and the darker. I hope it makes sense. Right, so that's most of my die cutting done. One thing I didn't show you earlier, and that I have already gone ahead and done, is die cut a bow from the blue cardstock. And the reason I did that beforehand was because it takes a bit of time to assemble. Now, when I came to put the strip on, I got my gridded ruler out and made sure that this went on straight at 1 inch up from the bottom of the card. Next up, I was sticking the smaller, lighter colour of cardstock to the darker circle. That's what I meant to say, wasn't it? Yes. Thank you. There's the bow I mentioned, by the way. And I'm going to stick that to the sort of scalloped donut. Not even sure that's a technical term, but that's what it looks like to me. And then I'll put the smaller one on top, so they're almost acting like washers either side. And then the tiny little flower, I'm just going to add a tiny bit of shape to, and then stick it in the middle. Now, you probably noticed there that this smaller circle hadn't quite stuck properly. I will come back to that later, but I tried to shove it in at this point and make sure everything's stuck. And then an obligatory gemstone. Right, the circle I wanted to layer up, so it's on with the foam pads. I'm not sure I've got to fit it any more on, but you know what? It's going to be stable. The glue was just to give myself a bit of wiggle time, but it's not strictly necessary. I will be changing that hello sentiment. I put it on just to make sure that things looked balanced. Now obviously you could stick whatever sentiment you've got. I've got a limited range of dies when it comes to sentiments, so you know what, if you want to stick on new baby or mini human or small arrival, whatever words you've got that you want to make sense out of, feel free. Now that little embellishment that goes in the centre of the bow wasn't sticking too well with the bookbinding glue because of the shape of the bow, so I decided to raise it up on some dimensional glue. And then that sticker / embellishment that I'd made earlier, I just basically applied some foam pads to and stuck it in the middle of the bauble, which it now seems to be. And then, just for something, I added 2 tiny little gemstones either side of the bauble. And that kind of worked, didn't it? Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that one. If you've got any questions, of course, leave them in usual places. That's it for this time. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And for more from me in the future, please remember to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.